Now, President William Ruto seems to be trailing his guns on politicians, both elected and aspiring from the Mount Kenya region, accusing them of orchestrating and financing the Gen Z demonstrations that has so far left to the deaths of more than 100 youth since last year and property worth billions of shillings destroyed. But of interest are the latest demos during the Sabasaba Day commemoration that spiraled for more than 3 days, highly affecting major towns in Mount Kenya region. Angry President Ruto is accusing the politicians of trying to overthrow his government through unconstitutional means. As Chris Tyro reports, locals from Murang'a, Nyeri, Embu, Meru and Kirinyaga claim that those who looted and burnt property and police stations were ferried from outside and accorded security by the police.
From looting, burning of property, and 2 days of mayhem between the police and protesters were the scenes witnessed in all the 9 counties in the Mount Kenya region during the Sabasaba Day commemoration, which also left deaths and permanent injuries on some of the protesters. Of interest to note is that during the Sabasaba Day demos, all the major counties in the Mount Kenya region were highly affected compared to the rest of the country, where destruction and looting of property were not witnessed. And now President William Ruto is smelling a rat. All is not well in the region that overwhelmingly voted for President William Ruto in the 2022 general election, getting a total of 2.9 million votes compared to his closest rival, then now turned political friend ODM leader Raila Odinga, who only managed to get 834,000 votes. The region has more than 3.8 million registered voters.
Sijui kama tunaelewana, my friends. No, enough is enough. Haiwezi kuendelea tena.
President William Ruto, who has already lost most of his former allies since falling out with former DP Rigathi Gachagua, believes there are politicians from the region who want to destabilize his government and taint him as an unstable president.
Unajua wananiambia sijui nini, sijui Moi, sijui Moi. Moi alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Kibaki alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Vile Uhuru alikuwa rais wa Kenya. Na kabla ya Moi kulikuwa na Kenyatta. Na baada ya Moi kulikuwa na Kibaki. Na baada ya Kibaki kulikuwa na Uhuru. Hii kisirani ni ya nini? Hapana. Hapana. Hapana, hapana. Hiyo ni upuzi.
However, politicians from the region think otherwise.
He said that he never saw demonstrations against Kibaki. He never saw demonstrations against Uhuru. So this issue of a tribal card, he is the one playing it, because he mentions the presidents who came from the mountain under the same sentence. You can actually see he's the one pushing this tribal card.
It is clear history is repeating itself, and the architect William Ruto is back on the deck. He is hell-bent to finish his unfinished business with the people of Mount Kenya.
Na mwanza kupea wa Kenya tu story mingi kila wakati. We can see through the lies. We can see through, and we know for sure either the government was involved or it abetted those crimes and criminalities.
For instance, in Murang'a town, where a supermarket was looted and other business premises attacked by goons, the locals claim that majority of those who unleashed terror are not known to them.
Hakuna vinya watu wanaweza toka huko juu, wenye walikuja kukuandamana si watu hapa, si wakaji wa hapa. Walikuja na wakaanza kufanya maneno.
Tuko na information walimwagwa na basi 6, vijana kama 300.
Wenye wanalipa watu wakuje wachukue vitu za wenyewe. Kama tumekuchagua, kama hatujakuchagua, hiyo ni kitu baya sana. Juu wewe mtoto wako ako kwa nyumba na umemwacha kwa nyumba. Unakuja, unachukua watoto wa wenyewe, unawalipa wakuje waandamane.
As opposed to the Azimio maandamano, this Gen Z maandamano, the target is now the Mount Kenya community. You have seen the businesses that have been attacked are those for people who come from the mountain.
Ironically, in President William Ruto's administration, majority of the top leaders hail from Mount Kenya region. For instance, in his cabinet, out of the 21 cabinet secretaries, 8 come from Mount Kenya region, including Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, whose roots are from Tharaka Nithi County, as well as Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjau, who hails from Laikipia County. This is despite a good number of principal secretaries and ambassadors from the region and serving in his government. But despite all these, locals feel that there is a deliberate attempt by the government to cause chaos in the region.
Mambo ya 2027 kama inafanyiwa ifanyiwe huko juu. Kama kuna vita ya president na Rigathi na hao wengine, wacha ifanyiwe na huko juu. Wacha isiletwe kwa biashara zetu. Na hizi mambo hatukuziona Kisumu, hatukuziona Ukambani. Mbona imefanyika Mount Kenya?
There is another arm that has come to try and ride on that genuine protest by the Gen Z to achieve an objective, and I believe this is a government objective, and it is really towards the mountain.
This is a clear onslaught on the Kikuyu nation. A case in point, when a police station in Mawego in Homa Bay County was torched, the suspects for that particular crime have been charged with arson. But when a police station is alleged to have been torched in Kiambu, suspects from the Kikuyu nation are charged with terrorism charges.
And in all these, the bone of contention has been the question whether President William Ruto will get a second term come 2027 general election, as well as the support from Mount Kenya region.
Upuzi yenu mnatuambia sijui one term ya nani? Nani alikuambia sisi ndio tutakaa one term? Kibaki hakukaa one term, Uhuru hakukaa one term. Sisi umeona wakati imetufikia ndio sisi ndio washenzi tukae one term. Tunapiga mbili.
One term is a constitutional thing. If you are sending Ruto after his one term, he has nothing to be fearful about. You are actually assuring him that he has enough time to plan against you. And I would rather we go back to factory setting and we are saying Ruto must go.
Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Wajaribu. Allah.
The last time that President William Ruto toured Mount Kenya region was 4 months ago, and before that he had stayed for close to 6 months without touring the region. And as the 2027 general election fast approaches, the scramble for the more than 3.8 million votes in the Mount Kenya region is on. Chris Dairu, KTN, Nairobi.
Away from politics, teachers, parents and students gathered